Rope Talk with Matt Dumont.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 21, Top Rope Talk here on Quiet Corner TV on YouTube. Unofficial sponsor, Real American Beer. Shout out to the Hulkster.
Keep getting well, bro.
Great American Pilsner, brother.
It is delicious.
You did well.
Especially on warm days.
Hot day like this, nothing better than a nice cold Real American Beer. A couple of Real American Wrestling fans right here.
That's what we are. You know,
21 episodes, ladies and gentlemen.
2-1.
We appreciate the support.
I'm gonna
like, comment, subscribe, please.
Special shout out, because you know whose favorite number was 21?
I don't.
That guy up there, Mr. RSD, Ryan Scott Doyle, episode 21.
Butter.
We got you, kid. Butter man. His protector, our bodyguard back in the day.
21.
21. You know, you and I have been going over this for about a month now.
Wanted to do this episode.
We've been wanting to do this
figure out
episode. We thought about it, and we're doing it. Episode 21. Wrestling, professional wrestling's biggest what-ifs.
We normally do top fives where we compare both of ours. This one we decided we're just going to pick 5 and discuss them.
Again, remember, our opinion, we want you to comment what your biggest top 5 are.
Throw us
What ifs.
suggestions. We'll come back with it later. We can definitely get back into the topic.
Yeah.
This is just our top 5 from our chats so far.
And again, we're wrestling fans. We're always going to agree to disagree. But our top 5 is going from when we started watching wrestling, the mid-'80s to now.
Big gaps.
Big gaps.
We'll start at number 5.
What if
Vincent Kennedy McMahon didn't start buying up all the small territories and go national?
Could you imagine a world now? Now, I know we have Ring of Honor, we have AEW, GCW,
TNA,
WWE, New Japan,
Joshi.
We
out there.
We have them now, but there was a time in the 80s where it was even more, and you had
Here in the States.
and it was just in
everywhere.
the States, and you had 5 every organization had their 5-star champion, they had their world champion, whether it be WWF, whether it be NWA, Mid-South, WCCW, AWA.
NWA covered a few of the territories.
That's the whole thing, is like
their champ went around
and fought everybody. So, I mean,
Shout
that guy
out to
right back there.
H.
Woo! But you think about guys that they were recognized as world champions. Jerry Lawler, you know. Harley Race, NWO, we know that already. Vern Gagne, AWA. You know, Bob Backlund, WWF. These guys would get into Bruno Sammartino. They would get into matches against their inter-promotional selves, because back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, it was all one big organization where they had territories. So you'd have world champion versus world champion, but it always ended either on a double counter or a double disqualification. So it was really nothing you could really fight and battle each other. Who is that?
Not important.
What?
Shit.
Is somebody want to stop in? Because I'll tell you what, Pafumi, you know that guy?
Was that Bafumi?
It was a Pafumi.
Are you calling it?
He says he's going to call in one night. I'm going to pick up. We'll put it on the speaker. So I think back in when Vince's vision obviously worked for everybody. Vince saw it going global, but he saw if you buy out your competition, there's less, and everybody's going to watch you. So I'm glad a couple of strongholds held out. Obviously, NWA held out. They had their marquee guys. They had the Flairs, the Four Horsemen. But Vince
Memphis held out as long as possible.
As long as possible. A lot of
AWA held out
as long as possible. But Vince, once you got those TV deals back in the 80s, it was game over. If you got USA, he had money, and he gambled.
If he wasn't buying your company, he was just pulling your top stars out of it, which subsequently killed your company.
In 2025, we still see it happening.
Counter programming.
I love that. Listen, that's a good number 5.
Wasn't a coincidence that Saturday night's main event happened the same night as All In.
Yeah,
which
we talked about.
Whoops, we didn't realize.
Episode 20, we talked about it. AEW brought it that weekend, but that's the whole thing. It's crazy where it's kind of like the pettiness. Like, we're all wrestling fans. That's a great weekend for us, no matter how you put it. We win.
Regardless.
So,
ton of good shows.
That's a good number 5. Interesting for us, the next 2. Number 4. Not to be confused with the Four Horsemen, because it almost happened. What if Shawn Michaels, HBK, and The Undertaker left
Jump ship.
WWF and jump ship during the Monday Night Wars to WCW because they both said they were offered a lot of money to go. Could you imagine, like, we had DX, we had NWO, we had the Monday Night Wars for us being in our teenage, early 20s years was a phenomenal time that we'll never get back again. But
maybe the best time other than right now in pro wrestling.
In pro wrestling.
In our fandom.
The Undertaker, leader of the what was it again? The Nation, not the Nation of Domination. The Darkness. The Undertaker when he went really weird. And then DX. None of that exists. You know, Ted Turner says, I'm going to pay you $10 million. Shawn Michaels, before he hurts his back, takes both of those guys, plucks them from WWF. Because Ted loved, listen, Hogan, Macho. You know, those are the first two. But then you had guys coming down from WWF just filtrating into WCW. If Undertaker and Shawn Michaels would have won...
First Raw, Luger came back after he'd already been
Same thing with Rick Rude. Pairing on both shows.
The same night.
Same night. So
there's the ultimate.
Here's the thing. WCW won for 83 straight weeks. You lose, WWF loses to those two guys, in my opinion. WCW wins. Because
Absolutely.
you did even
those
with,
two guys that jumped, yeah.
Even with
it's
The Rock,
much
even
story.
with The Rock and Stone Cold, because they were, I mean, they kept
Turner, Time Warner, whatever the hell it
would
is
have bought
now.
them
They're
out.
running the pro wrestling
Yeah.
industry because their brand won. They
It
at
is-
that point the value
it is crazy to think about because I mean I've watched plenty of the WCW demise days and this or whatever you want to call it. When Time Warner merged and they didn't want anything to do with wrestling,
ran it out.
ran it out. What if Shawn Michaels?
Had it been that profitable, they're not running it out because now it's a cash crop.
I guarantee you, you call him Mark Callis, whatever you want to call him, they go to WCW. I agree.
Much different story
Yeah.
right
In the-
now,
in the ending.
20-something years later.
Yeah. How about this one's going to be controversial? I'm okay with it. Matt and I discussed it. Our number 3. What
Two
if
deaths in the mid-2000s.
2 deaths within a 20-month span?
Changed the industry forever.
Forever. What if
Eddie doesn't die, and subsequently Benoit doesn't lose his mind and kill his family.
I will, as a man, I think probably the biggest things I think about is that obviously us as guys, and I'm speaking for Matt at 47, speaking for me at 45.
46.
My bad, 46. See, I aged him a little bit. We were
Couple
raised.
months.
We were raised by dads who had dads that basically told us never to show emotion, never to say when you're upset, never to say when you're hurt. And I'm speaking now. This isn't even talking about like a mental health day, but we're speaking about like how we were brought up.
Not
These
their
guys,
fault. It's what they knew. It's
that's
what they taught
that's
us.
what we know. That's what they knew. Eddie Guerrero, we know the story of Eddie Guerrero. It's honestly that's my kind of like motivation on Instagram or thinking like you lost everything because of alcohol, drugs, everything. You got everything back. You fought, and then you died of a heart attack when you're brushing your teeth one night. And your nephew, basically, you die in your nephew's arms. And your best friend, who has been with you since the Japan days, for probably, at that time, 10, 15 years, for everything.
Probably 20 at
the
that
Pegasus
point.
Kid. The Pegasus Kid.
Early 90s.
Early 90s.
So
Now
at
your
least
best
10,
your best friend in
closer
the
to
industry
15.
goes nuts. And that's why it's like I don't mind talking about like the Benoit story or Guerrero. Eddie had to die the way he died. I think it's like almost like poetic justice. Does it right for his wife and his kids? No. But Eddie abused his body. It caught up to him.
Sure.
That's it. Benoit, unfortunately, if we look
Also
at it,
abused it.
also abused his body. Wrestlers back in the late 90s, early 2000s,
Didn't
guess
know.
what?
They didn't know.
How many replays have we watched of Benoit?
That headbutt.
The headbutt. The chair shots he took.
Driving your
Just driving your
skull
skull
just
into
into
someone
a dude,
else.
like into his collarbone, into his shoulder.
We've seen Guerrero get injured. I
Wham.
remember we dislocated his shoulder on the frog splash, but Benoit literally was like a New Age Dynamite kid who used his body for everything. He was a little 5'7", nothing, jacked up, 240 pounds, but was probably sauced out of his mind. We get that. When he did what he did with his wife and his kid, it makes us all sick to think about it. Because nobody in WWE knew when they did the show.
No one
And
knew.
Vince coming out and saying, like, we didn't know. Now we're never going to say his name again. The human being in me was like, yeah, this fucking dude's a dirtbag. the pro wrestling fan knows that he's one of the greatest wrestlers we've ever seen. That's the sick thing with us. Guerrero doesn't die. They're both alive to this day.
Yep.
I think Guerrero is involved right now with Dominic and Ray.
Oh, of course he is.
I see Benoit. Maybe he's going to be
They're
like...
probably not going anymore,
No,
but they're definitely still
Eddie
involved in
Guerrero is
business.
100% involved.
Oh.
Benoit's probably
Thousand.
Benoit's a producer, like Arn Anderson, doing this, do that. But Eddie is involved with Dom right now.
storyline.
In that storyline.
They'll bring him back in.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he'll hit a frog splash. He'll throw a belt, pretend he got hit. He'll do all that stuff. Eddie Guerrero, we
Lie,
love.
cheat, and
Lie, cheat, and
steal.
steal. So it's
God
crazy
damn,
to
it
think
was
about
he
that.
good.
But listen, that's a good number 3. But number 2 is really going to change things. Our number 2 for you 80s wrestling
Us old
fans,
school
old
cats.
school guys. What if Crockett never sells the NWA to Turner? What if he wanted? He fought with Vince. He had Ric Flair. He
wasn't going to sell this.
He wasn't gonna sell it.
wasn't.
And
He
here's the
wasn't
thing
gonna
is, I agree,
cave.
like, Matt-
all the other territories are dying. He wasn't
not
gonna
selling.
die.
And Matt and I have a lot of questions about this. The men's professional wrestling to watch on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday was the NWA. The kids, me, was the WWF. And
You wanted wrestling.
You wanted wrestling?
You turned into
NWA all day. And obviously,
Flash WCW once he sold.
he was competing so much with Vince. And Vince, the thing is like, you started in New York. You're going to make more money. Crockett's in the South. Back in the 80s, if you wanted to retire, you moved down south because it was cheaper. Now it's all the same. Now people are making money, the exact same money in Florida as they are in Connecticut. But the thing is, Vince had all that money, so he just strangled him. And I say, like,
little at a time.
for wrestling, if Crockett didn't sell to Turner, I think honestly we would have still 2 strong wrestling companies. I think WWE would survive, but I think the NWA would be big or as bigger because you have the competition. What do you think?
Higher tides benefit all ships.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think 2 of them would have thrived had he not sold to Turner? No.
Okay.
Because Turner had a lot more money than Crockett did, and
TV
they
time and
still
everything.
couldn't survive.
They still didn't. Well, that's what you give.
In the end, Vince prevailed.
Vince, because he had the mind of his
He
father.
was already nationwide.
Right.
Like, even when Ted bought it, like, yeah, I've got the Superstation, which is aired 48 fucking states out of 50, whatever it
605.
was.
605, not 6 o'clock,
Hey,
605.
I watched it before Ted bought it.
Same.
It was already on his channel.
Same. We all watched it. WCW Saturday night.
Well
you know?
established why I'm a fucking wrestling fan.
And the big thing is again, it's just like you say, what if in 2025, things have changed, but the thing is where wrestling shrunk down to WWE and TNA. Right? In the 2000s, it was 2. You had Ring of Honor bubbling. You created Tyler Black, a.k.a. Seth Rollins, Kevin Steen, El Generico. You created that in a Ring of Honor.
Ole, ole, ole.
Right now, we have a resurgence because the wrestling fan wants to see wrestling. We
Need
love
more.
WWE.
Sure do.
They are going to be the juggernaut forever.
Majority of what we talk about here on this show on
But
Quiet Corner TV.
Quiet Corner, the number 1.
Number 1 pro wrestling show, Northeast Connecticut. Unofficially sponsored by Real American Beer.
Thank you. Now, I'm always okay with WWE always being the juggernaut, but now we still have the bubbling, the TNA, Ring of Honor. AEW is number 2. Right
CMLL, AAA, GC Dub, if you want to get that far down.
But every single federation has their niche, and we all love it because that's what wrestling fans do. So
we like what we like.
We like what we like, but we both agree solely on 2 was right there. Number 1.
Easiest.
I want to bring you back to 1996, July. I want to bring you back to Bash of the Beach. What if the Immortal One, the guy that's on this beer right here, Real American Beer, what if this guy does not turn heel and Sting turns as the third man? What does everybody think about that? Because that's probably the $1 million question, because we know after Hogan turned, The resurgence happened. Everything in the wrestling business went through the roof. But we all hear things about, listen, I have a good friend, Ron Edwardson, he made me a couple of wrestling belts. He's like, the story is you never want to beat your hero because you're not going to be happy. I've bet Hogan 3 times. Every time, no issues. I know the thing is with his brand, he's all about money. He's not dumb, so he's business. So for us older guys, we understand that. There are some times we wish Hulk didn't talk and embellish. But I'm going to be his fan for life. Okay? I'm going to be his fan for life. I wish he would
wouldn't
just...
be a fan today if it weren't for him.
I will still pay whatever to have him come out, rip his shirt off, tell him about the training, the prayers, the vitamins, do a pose down.
Drink his beer.
I drink his beer. I'm going to be happy. We know his number one downfall was getting involved in politics. No matter how we go politics-wise, if he would have stayed neutral and not say anything, nobody would say a bad thing about Hogan besides this bad things he says, on that tape. But hey now. Hogan does not turn heel and joins the NWO and Sting does. I think, with a lot of scenarios that could happen, Vince could have swooped in, took Hogan back to WWF.
Which you would have.
1,000%. Because Hogan would not have been happy with his place in the company, and he already wasn't because the crowd was already booing him. Besides,
they're not going to take him as their hero once the guy that was their hero just turned on them and went with the other guys.
Right.
They're not just going to automatically be like, oh, Hulk's a good guy, we'll go with him.
We're not going to go with him because we're sick and tired, and I get it. Because guess what? In the late 90s...
There's a reason 2/3 of the crowd says, John Cena sucks every time he's
because John Cena is the new age, or was, not anymore. He was the new age Hulk Hogan.
He was Hulk.
He was Hulk. But he loved it and he did well with it. And the crowd at some point changed and started cheering for him because he's like, all right, we're not going to get to this guy. He's going to still perform. He was Super Cena for years, which the crowd hated. But because Hulk, for a 4-year period, didn't lose either. Where if we look back, we could say another what if that was could have been a top 5. What if the Hulk didn't have a 4-year title run and let Piper win the title? Let DiBiase, let Bundy. We could go WWF. All these guys. We could talk about Orndorff. What if Hogan said, I want to be Ric Flair? Oh, I just said it. Oh, because Hogan's a 12-time world champion. Flair's a 16 modestly. We know it's more. But Flair won all but 2 of his titles in NWA. Imagine if Hogan would have put people over.
The guys that should have gone over. Like you just said. Right. Guys like DiBiase. How did Ted DiBiase never win a world title?
Bundy. Like, he put Andre over, but it was kind of a sham.
Did he, though?
It was, Andre, probably it was his choice. But there was still, like, if you look at in this day's age, he waited
until Andre was 130 years old and shot.
And he couldn't move.
Yeah. Oh, wrestle you now. Body slam you.
Body slam you and drop a big leg on you. So that's a 1A, what if. But listen, Hogan, the biggest professional wrestler of all time, besides Flair. I think popularity-wise, Hogan took it. But what if he stayed red and yellow and didn't go NWO? What is your take on that?
Had that never happened, WCW doesn't beat them 83 weeks in a row.
Right.
Not a chance.
Not even close.
Because like you said, he's going to get real sour with it quickly.
And Vince is going to come take him.
Go back.
Vince is going to take him. And I think that's the whole thing.
And if he shows back up,
it's the whole
red and yellow, kaboom.
Real American playing, it's game over. Because here's the thing is, like, even Hogan's running 02.
WCW, that's their funeral music.
Yeah. 02 and 03, Hogan came back. Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child. Hollywood Hogan played the air guitar. The crowd was still fucking nuts in 02, 03. It's the music. It's sometimes just the presentation of the music. So if he gets pulled years earlier, it's game over.
WCW doesn't survive.
Hogan,
not a fucking
because
chance.
We know the creative control. Hogan gets mad. Sting's the third guy. Hogan gets mad. Vince calls him up. Vince takes him. Hell, maybe Macho goes with him. Now you have.
Now who's fighting the NWO?
Now you have Macho Man.
Nobody left.
Macho Man and Hulk Hogan versus The Rock and Stone Cold on a fucking WrestleMania, SummerSlam. That's the thing we see. And then also,
mind you, WCW dwindling into obscurity because it's Sting and the NWO versus.
See what I'm saying? Could you fucking
versus the pardon my expression, JOs that are left.
Right. Jerk offs.
Thank you.
So here's the thing: is like that's a wow factor. Now Vince ended up, buying WCW for pennies on the dollar.
$2 million
for what it was worth, and he bought it that. And guess what? You still had to wait because the WCW invasion wasn't as great because these guys were quote unquote under contract to sit home and collect money. Goldberg.
That was the biggest ball drop.
That was the biggest ball drop. Goldberg. The whole NWO basically sat home. Scott Steiner. Until,
if you really wanted to make that right, buy them all out.
Yep.
Sign them to new deals, and then be like, "Here's what we're doing.
But
here's the profit margin on the other end."
But here's why Vince is Vince.
That's what he should have done.
Yeah.
Buy all of them out. You're already buying the shit for, like you just said, pennies on the dollar. Now spend the money, buy out the contracts.
Paul, Nash, Hogan, Steiner.
Now when you have the invasion,
now
here's
it's
the
legit.
real motherfuckers showing up.
Legit.
Not Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Haire. And
we love Booker T, but he still wasn't up that tier. Right. 5-time. My God. Good top 5 what ifs.
Good show.
Switching it up.
A little different this time.
I loved it.
Let us know what you think.
Tell us yours in the comments, but don't forget to subscribe.
Watch Please comment.
We
need the feedback.
Our producer, Big Boss, is coming up with different shows. Please watch it because they're funny and we love them too.
Quiet Corner TV here on YouTube. Episode 21, Top Rope Talk, coming to an end. He's Mike Moran. I'm Matt Dumont.
He's the host, by the way.
See you next time. Hear that, Bafumi?
Sweet!